sample frame, while 30% of constituencies from each region was randomly selected and allocated the regional quota based on total voters in each of the selected constituencies. The field interviews were conducted, however, March 2022 to March 30, 2024. I'll start with you, BOT. You have been citing Global Info Analytics almost all platforms that you appear. From March 2022 to March 30, 2020. March 22 to March 30, 2024. March 22, sorry.
I was confused.
March 22, sorry.
It's a dead news.
Yes, so this is March 22 to March 30,
That's okay.
2024.
That's okay.
Now, I'll start with you, BOT. Are you, as a party, happy with, or one would say, because Global Info Analytics is always putting former President John Dramani Mahama, your flag bearer, ahead of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Vice President, who is in power and could be his closest contender or whatsoever.
Justice, before I delve into the position of the NDC, talk of the rank and file, the grassroots and all stakeholders, our position on the Global Info Analytics continuous research document and putting the NDC and John Dramani Mahama ahead of his opponents. Let me quickly use a minute to touch on Ghana Statistical Service report that was released just yesterday. No, today, 10th of April, because I got a document though yesterday, but it was released today. And I take you to page 7. Disaggregation of March 2024 rate of inflation. March rate of inflation today has inched up to 25.8%. Now, just as my bone of contention has to, when you take every inflation, we have what called a disaggregation. When you disaggregate inflationary figures, you look at the various departments. So he looked at inflation for locally produced items and inflation for imported items. Ironically and surprisingly and painfully, inflation for locally produced items stood at 26.6%. Just that is the point I want us to pay attention to. Inflation for locally produced items stood at 26.6% as of March 2024 ending. Inflation for imported items stood at 23.8%. That means that upon all government flamboyant lip service sloganeering one district, one factory, it does not have a consequential affirmative impact on the state of the economy. What it means is that the manufacturers and producers in Ghana, if they are producing items, the relative pricing compared to last year has gone up by 26.6%. If the same manufacturer begin to go into selling of this same item by importing, the price will go up by 23.8. What it simply means is that most Ghanaians will rather prefer to import than to produce locally. So the government so-called one district, one factory, a business-driven political party, it's much ado about nothing. As an economist, when I disaggregate this figure and I'm analyzing data, if I produce in Ghana the same, let's say if I take this mobile phone and I produce in Ghana, the price will go up by 26.6%. If I import this same item from, let's say, China, Korea, wherever, the price will go up by 23.8. What it simply means is that when I import this same item that I'm producing in Ghana, I am saving about 3 to 4%. Every rational businessman or woman who wants to make economic rent or supernormal profit will be tempted to import than to produce here. So, Mr. EC government and parties so-called one district, one factory, it's Yamutu. It's in comatose. It's simply because the data do not support it. Just as I also take you to page 10 of the Global Info Ghana Statistical Service inflationary document, and they've itemized all the 16 regions. It is very painful. I'm speaking here to the people of Volta region. If you take year-on-year inflationary comparison, all the remaining 15 regions from Upper East, Western, Northern, Ashanti, Northeast, their rate of inflation declined. When you go to Volta region only, inflation that stood at 25.6% in 2023 March, jumped to 38.5. What it simply means is that because of the Volta Dam spillage, it has gotten to a consequential economic negative impact on the people of Volta region. So I want to ask the government, No, this is data. If you take all the 15 regions, the inflation is declining except voter region. And I can tell you.
The reason you are doing
I can tell you. When you cannot find a product to buy in the market, prices will shoot up. Today, why is cocoa price higher in the global market? It's because they can't find cocoa to buy. So in demand and supply analysis, when things are shortage in supply, demand goes up, price goes up. So why is voter region alone? And I want him to offer a reason to me. Why is it that Upper East, Western, Northern, Ashanti, all the remaining 15 regions, inflation is declining? Voter region alone, inflation down to 25.6 in 2023 March has jumped and skyrocketed to 38.5. He should assign me the reason. For me, from the economic perspective, I can say confidently that the intentional spillage of the voter dam occasioned it. Let me put this document aside from the Ghana Statistical Service and go to Global Info Analytics. Justice, you asked me a very simple question. Is the NDC rank and file happy? Are we in a jubilant mood? We are not. We are not. And every research and every data is a suggestive document.
Okay.
Data, when you are a friend of data or econometrics, and you want to play with data and do proper trend analysis, whether cross-sectional, penal, or whatever you put it, every data, when you put you first, must not make you jubilate. In fact, just I'll tell you something at home. Last term, my first boy was first in class. They vacated today. He went for his hour day today.
Okay.
And he was third. And I shipped him.
Why did you do that?
Swallow-headedness. Why must you be first last term, getting 94, 97, 98? You move into another term, and you have been displaced 2 positions. And it is not as if the facilities you had about 4 months ago, you never had it. You had the same facilities. What occasion you not performing this term? I shipped him this afternoon.
Now you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. That is what. No, let me finish. Let me finish.
It tells you it's a competitive class.
Allow him. I'll give you the opportunity.
Why will you do that?
I'll give you the opportunity.
Sunrise will pick you up.
I'll give you the opportunity. Every father has a right to.
He's eating into my time.
We'll pick you up.
Spare the rod, spare the child.
No, go ahead.
Your reason is
Go ahead. You see, allow me to flow.
But I think
time you been.
I'll give you the opportunity to respond. So just note it down.
It's wrong.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, the Bible has said that spare the rod, you spoil the child. Now, let me relate my child performance relative to last term to this term and compare to the position of the NDC. I will never be one of the very people who jubilate because of Global Info Analytics or Economic Intelligence Unit predicting that the NDC is likely to win. Rather, we are going to work extra harder because my child falling from first position in class to third position has given me indication that anybody who jubilate too late always cry. Like I said, every data in a form, whether raw, organized, segregated, desegregated, it's a suggestive document.
Okay.
And it gives you a guidepost. In fact, from September last year, October, November, December, I have with me here all the Global Info Analytics research document from October, September, October, November, December, January this year to April. That should tell you that I have taken my time to review their research work, to look at their sample size, their margin of error, their confidence level. And justice, look, you have a Global Info Analytics that tells you that for the methodology and the approach we took, we sampled 6,128 people. Our confidence level is 99%. And nobody is perfect. So obviously, you can't put up a data with 100% confidence in it. No, that is irrational. And they said that our margin of error is 1.6%, plus or minus 2%. And it goes on to say that we touch on 82 constituencies in Ghana. In fact, even in America, where their population is over 300 million, whatever you put it, when they are putting a pool, the sample size around 6,000 plus or minus. So I believe in the veracity or the authenticity of this document. Okay. However, as a member of the NDC, it will never in any way put me in a jubilant mood. What are the key indicators of the research document? And here, I would love to look at the areas of policy outline. And when you look at slogan likely to influence voters, the reason why I am keen on this particular segment is that since 1996, the NPP some way somehow has always resorted to sloganeerism in capturing the attention of the audience. But in 2024, The 24-hour proposed economic policy, which is a game changer, which is a novelty, which has received endorsement from rational stakeholders of the country, talk of GUTA, talk of AGI, talk of TUC, giving an endorsement that the state of this economy, and not only them, Dr. Abu Sakara, Alan Kojo Tremantin, all of them giving affirmative endorsement that the comatose nature of the economy requires an organic way to revive the economy. And the only way out is the proposed 24-hour economy, which will not require Ghana to go to IMF, which will not require Ghana to go to World Bank, which will not require Ghana to go to African Development Bank. But with prudent and fiscal prudence, the next NDC government will revive the wheels of this country. In fact, when voters, committed and intentional voters were asked, likely influencing policy, they gave them 3 key policies. 24-hour economic policy, digitalization by the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and GTP by Alan Kojo Tremantin. Instructively, the 24-hour economy, which is going to grant tax exemption, cheaper electricity to businessmen and women, and the best of it all is that there's going to be the setting up of an accelerated export development council that will be chaired by President Mahama. It's scored 48%. Digitalization that they have been trumpeting all over, making noise all around, scored 29%. Alan Tremantin scored 6%. Now, why do you think that I'll be here and be concerned about this research? Top issues of the voters. Just as I take you to January 2024 Global Info Analytics. In this same document, when you go to the top issues, economy was number 1. When we go to April 2024, the number 1 issue Ghanaians are yearning to see is job. If it is job, what can create immediate job? 24-hour economy. So when you take a sample size of this document, and then again, when you go to very blame for economic crisis, and there is a very instructive part, page 36 of the research.
Right.
It asks Ghanaians the state of the economy, the junk nature of the economy whereby pensioners cannot find access to their money. Bondholders domestically have been given a haircut. External bondholders are crying foul. Talk of China, the Paris Club, today are insisting that they will not succumb to haircut. Who is to be blamed for the economic crisis? On page 37, to what extent do you agree that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is to be partly blamed for the economic crisis? Whooping 60%, a gargantuan figure, said that if Ghana today is in a junk status, 60% of the blame should be attributed to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. 34% said they have no opinion, and just a feeble 6% they disagree. That should tell you that if today Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is 60% to be blamed by the content of this research, is the flag bearer of the MPP, where will he lead the country to? For me, it is very simple. There is a good adage in Chinese who translate that when you go to hunting and begin to hunt for the bigger, the fat game, is an indication that there are better ones on the way. You are the head of economic management team. The economy is in crisis, and 60% of respondents are saying that we have to partly blame you. You are blamable. 34% say they have no opinion. And then again, we came to, at a party affiliation level, to what extent do you agree that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is to partly blame for the economic crisis? They went to MPP stronghold, MPP members. 36% of MPP said Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is blamable. Not NDC, not CPP, not Afafanto, not a Chida political party, but its own backyard. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia own backyard. They ask Ghanaians, if today we are to blame Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, what will be the position of MPP members? A whooping 36% of MPP card-bearing members are saying that the one we should point fingers to is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Okay. Are you telling me that these 36% of the MPP members who come from IEC stock, IEC's backyard, are not reasonable, are not logical, are not thinking of the country? So the reason why me BOT on any day, I want to take the data and do introspective analysis is that this data is trusted by Economic Intelligence Unit, is trusted by Bloomberg, is trusted by EIU, so whom am I not to trust it? Reason for choice of candidate. They assign 6 reasons on grounds of competence, better management of the economy, can fight corruption, can transform the country, integrity, a man of his own. When they put these 6 factors together, they gave them score. Come to think about it. John Dramani Mahama, out of a score of 3, had 2.05. which is exceedingly about 66%. So if you are to give him a score in terms of 100% score, he scored about 67%. They go to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was tend to be the economic wasted. He was given 1.89, which is around 54%. So if I'm going into an examination and somebody scores 66%, 67%, somebody scores 54%, whom should I trust to be a very competent person? Obviously, John Dramani Mahama. Alan Chemantin scored 1.72. Who do you believe in to be more competent to run the country? Competency. Competency is not about throwing punchlines. It's not about sloganeerism. It's not about insinuation and insult. In fact, Professor Nana Jenopoko Ajaman confided in me that BOT, insult don't build the country. Insult don't build the country. And that is why for me, I take key interest in the fact that data must drive the next campaign. Justice, influence of religion, which is key to me. And that is why we in the NDC, we're never going to run a religious campaign.
Okay.
We'll run a campaign based on the economy, based on the conscience of the people. How likely is religion of the candidate going to influence your decision? I'm making reference to this particular portion because of what Pius Henam had just said, that if Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is elected, Islamic religion will be more powerful in Ghana. I'm referring him to data. I'm referring him to data. I'm referring him to data.
But where did Pius Henam say that?
Oh, he said that at a gathering in his constituency, and a lot of media house interviewed him. Okay. Go to Ghana Web Today, it is there. A lot of media portal. Go to Ghana Web Today, just type.
I've read something
Pius
like that.
Comment. I've given you sources. So and even beyond him, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia himself met a gathering in the north prior to his election in the NPP flag bearers, and he said that they are electing him because he's a Muslim.
Yes.
So let even put Pius aside. Let me deal with the flag bearer of the NPP. He made his campaign very Islamic and religious. Look at data here. How likely is the religion of the candidate going to influence your decision? Look. As of January 2024, 76% said that the religion cannot influence them. When we got to April this year, it has jumped to 84%. What it simply means is that Ghanaians are going to cast their vote December 7, not based on religion. Whether you are a Christian, atheist, Buddhist, Hindus, it doesn't put food on the table. What the people in Bono region are looking forward to is that our roads are deplorable. Electricity doing so today is an issue. People going to school are facing challenges. The banking sector is facing crisis. These are the teething economic issue that the ordinary businessman and woman, when they sleep on their bed, the only respite they are looking forward to is the 24-hour economy, who to turn around the fortunes of this country, create immediate job, create distant job, give them tax rebate, give them cheaper electricity, and give them hope for an accelerated export development council that to be chaired by nobody than the next president. And at this moment, I believe that people like my brother who are heading into opposition must have the humility set by Michael Cicero that always advance to own level of argument. But justice, when you meet the more superior one, drop yours. This data here has made it superior that the MPP has lost the game. But we in the NDC will never be jubilant because every data is a subjective document.
You will not allow this to get into your heads.
No.
You will not be confident.
Because it's a subjective document.
All right, okay.
If it were to be objective document, then I will be very throwing parties all over.
Right.
Anything can happen.
Very well.
And because anything can happen, we in the NDC, we are never swallow-headed.
That was Bernard Odro Techi, popularly known as BOT. He's a chartered economist and a member of the National Democratic Congress. You are still watching Hot News right here on Pan-African Television with me, Justice Appiah. Don't forget to join in the discussion by sending in your views, comments, and contributions on a WhatsApp text line displayed on the screen. I'll be reading. Those messages are for you. Those of you watching us on Facebook, please, if we are having challenges, try as much as possible and to make sure that we are able to stream again on Facebook. I mean, I'm told earlier that we started streaming, but there were some few, network challenges and all of that. But let's go back and check if it is working. Then we stream it again. I beg all of you, because some viewers are really waiting to watch us on our Facebook page. I'll come to you, Mr. Isi. How has the New Patriotic Party, especially Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's team, received this opinion poll from Global Info Analytics?
Yeah, thank you. Good evening to my colleagues, BOT, and our viewers, yourself and the production crew. Before I respond to that, let me touch on the inflation issue that he dealt with. These are chartered economists. I respect him for that. But I disagree with some of the concepts he brought out. Now, in the inflation, local and then imported inflation, we having 28%, 23%. He attributes that to the non-performance of the industries that we're building, one district, one factory, and he's an economist, and so it was disingenuous for him to have alluded to that. You know why? Because he knows that in the building of industries, there are times we call gestation periods, and there are some policies, deliberate government policies, that are directed at such companies to be able to be on their feet and then pick up. Okay, one such policy is tax exemptions. This government has tabled a motion in parliament for tax exemptions. The NDC, his party, are obviously opposed to that. So how do you expect such industry to grow, right, when you are opposing tax exemptions for them, so that they will need those ones to be on their feet and to grow? And two, what quantity of produce have they turned out onto the market? As we speak, there are some that are having difficulty with their creditors wanting them to repay because there's a period that they needed to repay. And when they have not been solid on their feet as far as the production is concerned. And so if you attribute that and say because of that, importation of products because it's cheaper, that's true. Production at home is going to take a time to break even and then begin to make profit. He knows that. He's an economist and he knows that. Okay, production stages, when you start, because of the investments and costs that you put in, definitely you'll be having challenges till you get to the optimum point. Then you begin to maximize returns and others. He knows that. And so we need to give them the time to grow and then begin to get those profits made. Again, let's come to the other thing he touched on. The Volta region inflation. I disagree with him because the spillage was not done in Volta region alone. It affected three major regions: the eastern region, the Greater Accra region, and the Volta region. So yes, about four or so. The 5 districts were affected. 2 in the eastern and I think 2 or 3 in the Greater Accra region. So what are we talking about? That these other regions are not affected. If that is the reason, no. Then maybe we need to read the full report to get to know why the Volta region is having such challenges. That will be, but not about the spillage. And yes, the spillage is deliberate, because if we don't do that, the dam was going to collapse. These are facts, okay? And if the dam collapses, okay, what we spilled, the VRA spilled was about 5%. Of the water holding behind by the dam. If it had not, and look at the consequential effect. If we had not done the spillage and the dam unfortunately had collapsed, okay, all the 9 districts downstream would have been wiped out. That is the consequences of that. So let the Ghanaian notice that it's not the spillage that is there. The last one, he touched on beating his child. If your child were first, and yes, ordinarily you expect him to be first again. Maybe you've put in incentive motivations and to encourage him to be first again. Unfortunately, he's moved to third. 2 things. It tells you, yes, one, either he's been complacent and didn't study in spite of all the motivations you've done, or there's competition in the class. That class is a very competitive class. So that means, you know, you cannot be first and keep being first, because there are other people who were third, fifth, who come in and boot you away. Okay, so these are the issues that you need to look at. You don't have to beat your son because of that. Let me come to the global info analytics. Yes, the party MPP, we've seen these reports. My brother Miracle Zabuaje is organized a press conference and is stated the position of the campaign team. Yes, and disagree with that. My communications director has also stated his position. He disagrees with the findings because one key area that people are asking, which I would also want to have an answer to, per these reports, the MPP is going to fall below 44%. It's never happened before. It's never happened before. What accounts to it? Well, maybe he will say because Alan Chematin is gone, so it's going to take away that 7%. And that 7% is going to exclusively come from the MPP stock. That is not going to be true. It's not going to be true. If a figure like Alan Chematin, if he's going to pull, he's going to pull from both sides or all sides. Okay, so you don't get complacent and say, oh, because of that, it's going to pull away 7% from exclusively the MPP stock. That cannot be a basis
they have
for that.
indicated the methodology. They told you that they've given you the sample size.
Yes. No, I don't have a problem with the sample size. 6,000 is representative enough.
Right.
In any research work, 6,000 respondents is representative, and 5,980 responding is very representative. I'm not disputing that.
Right.
And confidence level stated 99%. They've gone on the stream. I was expecting 95%. Okay, but once they move to 99% confidence level, fine. And then margin of error 1.66, so plus or minus 2. That's what we are. So I don't have a problem with that. But I disagree with that. Based on A, B, C, D, these are the issues. If you look at the document 2, you see in the strongholds, they asked a certain questions, and 22% of MPP people were made to respond, and 25% of NDC people were made to respond. Okay, on
in
that.
The stronghold.
Yes, it's
stronghold. Like the Ashanti region.
No, they were asking about something. The new voters. Yes. Okay, where so 22% of people that were asked were from the MPP and 25% from the NDC stronghold. Then the non-fresh voters, same. I think 30 something from the NDC stronghold and about 20 something from the MPP stronghold. What it tells you that if you're doing the aggregation of this, okay, the number of people fits into the general computation and aggregation. Okay, and so then because the sample size therein is larger, okay, and their response is definitely going to impact the ultimate calculation you are going to do.
A second, so this is a twist that you are talking about. The poll, which was released yesterday, so that was 3 days ago, April 8, 2024, and made available to the daily graphic, of which Pan-African Television, we have a copy, using weighted polling data, said among first-time voters, Mr. Mahama led Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia with 52% as against 33%.
Good.
And among non-first-time voters, Mr. Mahama led Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia with 55% to 35%.
Good. And so if you look at the sample size there, I had a little, but it's okay. It's plus or minus 3% and 5% is something that, but it fits into the ultimate aggregation. Okay. So that must be put on record.
Right.
Then we come to areas, the regional, religious, and all that. He touched on them, so I don't want to belabor that. It's instructive. I think it's a good way of carrying out the research, because religion definitely is going to play a part in this whole kabudo. Okay, so anybody who discounts, I've said it, anybody who discounts religion may be doing so at his own peril. But fortunately, the report says, people are not minded by the religious issues that much, which is very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so the issue of economy is key. If you look at it, economy, roads, and jobs is very important in these polling processes. And this government, we are very confident about our efforts at the roads infrastructure that we've provided. Fortunately, we've put out the performance tracker, and everybody can just type in and then assess and see in your area what we say we have done these kilometers of road. Check it and see. In your area, we say there's one village, one dam. check it and see, verify and authenticate it. That is the way to do it. This is not Green Book where people will come and say they've built a school and the Presbyterian church or the Anglican church somewhere will say, no, this is our own project, not government project. That's not what we are going to do. So we need to look at that. Job issues. When the government statistician brought the last survey before this one, he did say that in Q3 of 2023, you know, about 14.7%, he did also say that about 440,000 people were up for the job market. Out of that, 60% of them got the opportunity to get jobs. Okay, that tells you the penetration and the opportunities that are available under this government. Okay, and when you speak, sometimes people forget that this government, when you are doing survey on youth employment and unemployment and co, the Galamsey sector had been a very important sector in the employment of the youth of this country, especially in the gold mining areas. Okay, and so when the government deliberately decided to rise and kick against the Galamsey, definitely it means you are kicking people out of jobs. The alternative way you are giving them, a lot of people don't appreciate it that much, because the miner goes to work and comes home with nothing less than maybe about 500 or 1,000 cedis, and then you are telling him alternative means, which is maybe farming or whatever, and it's not going to give him even 100 cedis when he comes home. So it's not that attractive to them. So these are things that are part of the computations of the unemployment issues. And so and he agrees with me, he will agree with me as a chartered economist, that when you are computing unemployment, it is the end year figure that we are looking at. So Q1 can be high, Q2 can be low, Q3 can be high, Q4 can be low, and the aggregate of that can bring the unemployment figure way down or push it up. It's possible. He understands that, he knows that. And so you don't just hop on a quarter and then say that is the conclusive way of doing it. So when we come to issues of this thing, I'm going to count on the vision of my candidate, Dr. Bawumia. Yes, he did say 24 hours is attracting about 48%. I cannot trust somebody who couldn't manage 12 hours effectively. Okay, without exogenous factors, he had to go to IMF. Okay, without exogenous factors, he had to cancel, allowances to teacher trainees and nurse trainees. People work for 36 months and he had to pay them just 3 months. Can you imagine the trauma that teacher went through? Okay, these are things that we're going to be looking at, and I trust a government that has brought in many expenditure items which hitherto were not part of the government's expenditure in this country under John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. Okay, some of these, the free SHS, which has turned out over 5.7 million young Ghanaians who have benefited directly from the free SHS. Okay, and that is something that one district, one factory hitherto was not part of our expenditure item. And so you need to look at that. One village, one dam, and then the IPEP issues, the one constituency, 1 million, which is as a result of which we created the Coastal Development Authority, the Middle Belt Development Authority, and then the Northern Development Authority, which are providing water, toilet facilities, and ambulances and others for these areas within these sectors. Okay, so we need to look at that, and I am very upbeat and confident that my candidate's vision, which vision includes the issue of taking the burden off the government and getting the private sector to get in to roll out major infrastructure projects for the people. For instance, constructing roads, major roads from one point to the other, and the private sector takes over. That expenditure is taken off the shoulders of government, and that money would be used for other sectors to the benefit of the people, especially in job creation opportunities. This government, under them, agriculture, which is a very key sector, agriculture was growing at 2.9%. Now it's growing at over 6%. We've learned they're planting for PFJ 2.0, and it's doing wonders. So these are things that I am very confident and upbeat about, that we need to get into. The flat rate tax regime that the Dr. Baumia is looking at is something that the Gutta people have also wholeheartedly accepted. I've listened to them, and they were excited about that. Dr. Baumia has talked of the other issue of trying to link the Tema Takrade ports and its tax and duties and charges regime with that of Lome, so that there will not be the temptation for people to rather want to bet at Lome and then push goods into Ghana, but rather bring it to Ghana, Tema and Takrade. Then we can, because if the disparity is huge, then definitely there's that dispensation that people will move to Lome and then smuggle it through Ghana. And so these are things that Dr. Baumia, as part of his vision, is looking at, and then creating the mining sector. Mining is very important. We want to streamline it and make it a format. Then we get a mining development bank which will finance the mining sector, which will structurally make better for people to benefit, the young people to get job opportunities and go. So I am upbeat about my candidate. The info and I will not sit here and rubbish it. No. I have always trusted in surveys and all that. If you understand research, some of these things inform you to do better. Last one, why I wouldn't rubbish some of these things is about, I told you before, my wife's case. With I got a PhD student to do a research, and when they did the research, my wife was behind the university lecturer. You get it? By about, I think, 9 percentage points or so. Then I said, okay, that's good. Let's see how we can work to overcome it. People doubted it. You get it? But we put in structures and co. And by the time we went for the real poll, we overtook her. And my wife was the victor. So these are things that we need to do. As MPP, I wouldn't want to rubbish it. I may disagree. And so I'm with my people, bosses who are disagreeing. But it doesn't mean we got to rubbish it. We'll take it and do everything to ensure that we learn the lessons and rectify them, so that by the time the elections proper come, we break the
Thank you so much. That was Mr. George AC, Director of Communications, NADMO, and a member of the New Patriotic Party Communications team. Now, let me take some of our messages, but I'll plead for 10 minutes. So I'll kindly give you 10 minutes for my guests for their last round. I'm sorry, but I need to beg for that. So I'm begging you.
You're always begging for time.
This man called Mr. George AC was making noise when MPP assumed power. I think that's what you want to say. But for some years now, he's not active. Where was he? And was he coming to defend the New Patriotic Party?
I've always been active.
Accordingly, Patrick.
He's not busy. I've always been active.
This one says, good evening. I think members of the New Patriotic Party only know how to slang and spend taxpayers' monies. We will amaze them in this year's election. Thank you so much for your message. The termination of Mr. Tinkrine and the subsequent appointment of Kofi Osafo-Maafo raises a lot of eyebrows, as many others who are qualified to be Director General for SNIT are not given the opportunity. But
is Kofi not
the son of a political actor who is a close ally to the president, the nepotism under this government is so alarming and worrying. If you have no relative in government, you certainly cannot occupy certain positions or be employed into certain areas. I've suffered the nepotistic act of this government when I was denied the opportunity to get enlisted in the Ghana Armed Forces on these consecutive occasions. It is so sad. Ghanaians need to wake up. Daniel Akpaliok from Sandema sent in that particular one. This one says, please tell the MPP communicator to speak English that all Ghanaians will understand. All they know is to speak big English. I'm Jonas from Kaswa High Tension. All right, thank you so much, Jonas, for your message. This one says, good evening to you, Mr. Justice, and to your guest over there. MPP is a party that should never be given the chance to run this country. They have bitten more than they can chew. They are running family and friends government, and Ghanaians are going to kick them out of governance and bring competent person
We
who can
won this
rescue the
election.
country, and there is no other person competent enough than JDM, the MPP man there, knows that they have, sent the country into a very serious mess. But because he has benefited from the party, he is also defending them. This one is from Jabosco inside Yeji. Thank you so much. I butchered the name, but I mean, let's take it like that. Fantastic submission from BOT. In fact, this MPP government has disappointed the good people of Ghana. Tell them not to waste their time to campaign, because they are going to hand over to NDC for a better Ghana from Sir Prince in Ayensua. No, thank you so much, Sir Prince, for your message. This one says the MPP for you, when it goes in your favor, then it is good. When it goes against you, then you don't agree. Hey, Mr. EC, shine your eye. Oh, can't you see you are losing big time? All right, thank you so much for your message. This was good evening, Justice. The MPP knows very well that they have lost the election already. I wonder why they have allowed Akwesi Nyantakyi to contest the parliamentary candidate position as somebody who is facing criminal trial. Ghanaians should be very careful with a Japadia document, because they are implementing it and it will cost Ghanaians. Greetings to BOT from what's the name? Kozaman. Okay, thank you so much for your message. This one says, please tell the NDC man that beating his son for failing from first to third is very bad. Did he find out from the son what happened? This is a very bad parenting at the modern era. He should stop that bragging and concentrate on the EC before they will be rigged in the election again. Drop from Adenta sent in that one. Because you see, the traders don't need tax exemption, but their own locked up capital to do their businesses. Okay, all right, thank you.
No, I'm
so
talking about the 1D1 and the new industries.
Max says, hi, Justice, I'm Justice. What's happening in the MPP is tantamount to the Tower of, the whole world once had a single language and a common speech. When the people, okay, so that's, okay, Tower of Babel, okay, that's what he wanted to say. When the people,
see, I'm religious.
When the people started building a tower to reach heaven, God confused them with languages so that they will not understand each other. They scattered over the world and stopped building their tower. God has thrown confusion into the party to prevent them from breaking the so-called eight. Mark from Sunyani sent in that. Hi, good evening, Mr. EC. You simply lost the argument by saying that the minority is fighting against tax exemption.
Yes, they are.
This one says, I'm Obing Maxwell. I'm watching you live from Libya. Please, Dr. Baumia can't change our problem. Let us see his vision. Talk unkwa. Thank you so much for your message. Have a lot of messages here. This one says, if the NDC didn't rescue this country, they will see what we will do to them. All right, thank you so much for that message. I love the NDC man. Kojo from Cape sent in that one. This one says, hi, good evening, Justice and everyone. BOT, please don't waste your time on this global info. Even all all what knows, all ghosts know John Dramani Mahama is winning hands down. Tell Mr. EC that he should advise Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to keep the title. What title? Well, okay. I mean, it's too long, so let me just move to another message. This one says, please tell Mr. George EC to stop the giggling. Sir George Ato, president of East Tanokrum Ifia constituency. Ifia constituency. Ifia is the name of a woman. Good evening,
Yeah,
Mr. Justice. Tell the MPP George AC to respect himself and the show. The strategy he's using shows that, well, I won't read insults. I'm sorry. I won't read insults. Good evening, Mr. Host. My concern is about NSS certificates which are nowhere to be found since 2023 from Nkranza South, Bono East region. You didn't add your name. This one also says, I'm Chairman K, watching you live from Kumasi Agric, Kromwase. The only hope for Ghana is NDC and John Dramani Mahama. December 7 is a communal labor for all Ghanaians to vote massively for John Dramani Mahama and NDC MPs. Mr. BOT, God Almighty bless you for your super submission. Greetings to Bono East NDC Regional Chairman, UNESCO, and Asante Regional NDC Chairman, Nana Kwesi, and Honorable Elvis Afriye Ankra. Let me take two more. I have a lot here, but let me take two more and then I come back for us to go. This one is Dr. Baumia is a liar and will never be president in this Amada Ghana. JM all the way by Kennedy Avoro from Boga Tanga. All right, thank you so much, Kennedy, for your message. This one says, Justice, only divine intervention can stop the second coming of JDM. Ghanaians prefer 24-hour economy over reckless driver's mate from Salam
is an
Chibi
slogan.
This one says, Ghanaian youth will rise up if MPP decide to win again in this coming election. We want to come home and see our family, but because of high cost of living, we fear. He sent this one from another. The number is +218. I don't know which country code is that, but he's actually not in Ghana. Pan-African Television.
Just in one of the African countries.
Predicted the 2020 elections, Kumewu, Asin North, and MPP internal elections. MPP own internal predictions for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was 35%, but Info Global was close. Tell Mr. AC to behave and stop laughing by heart. Stephen in Kwabenya sent in that one. Then finally, hi Justice, please tell Mr. AC to stop laughing whenever BOT is making a nice submission, because he interrupts him. Thank you so much for your message. This one says, please, why do you waste our time? Okay, I'm not wasting your time. This one says, good evening, Justice. Extend my greetings to my mentor, BOT. For me, my greatest happiness is from the report. 66% of the research sample said His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is the most trusted and competent among all the presidential candidates. From TR Kasim in Ateobu. He sent in that one from Ateobu. James K. Saba says the missing of the E6 device are not missing for nothing, but they are missing for an agenda and purpose. So please, NDC, don't take this happening as a joke. MPP is always in bed with the EC, and they do things and plan together. Do you know why the President Akufo-Addo appointed the IT expert to Electoral Commission? EC, he was sent there for a special purpose. So NDC, sit up, put your feet on the ground and your IT team in place. Don't put any stomach IT man in the team. From James K. Saba. Mr. AC, kindly tell us when your government will post nurses trainees who competed in 2020. All right, thank you so much. I can't take your messages anymore. We have just about 8 minutes to go. You have 4 minutes.
And just it has to be 4 minutes for each. No interaction from each person.
Of course. I mean,
now I'm going to refer to the voting intention on the weighted level.
Right.
When the poll was unweighted, which means when it was not well disaggregated, Mahama got 54.3%. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had 34.6%. That is intention.
Right.
When the poll or the research document was put on weighted, come to think about it, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama polled 55.5%. What it means is that when the research was properly situated segregated, desegregated. It will realize that, look, if Ghanaians were to be voting today, His Excellency Mahama will garner 55.5. These are intentions of people. As to how we can granulate that intention depends on the work we NDC will do, vigilance, united front, and making sure that nobody takes anybody for granted. When I hear the MPP rubbishing this particular research document, I laugh. In election 2020, this same Global Info Analytics predicted 50.4% plus or minus margin of error of 1.6% for the MPP. At the end of the day, it turned out that it was contentious at the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court brought finality that the MPP won, 51.3. I'm asking you see today, if in the election 2020 they predicted 50.4% with margin of error of 1.6 and ended up 51.3, did you trust them at that time? They should start the cherry picking. The pick and choose aspect of the MPP is very annoying, very nauseating, and it's more of a confident trickster putting up a posture of defense mechanism. Just as I move you to general election, first time and non-first time voters. Who are the first time voters? These are the people coming from attaining their 18s, coming from the senior high schools, and when they ask them, first time voters, Mahama as of January, first time voters, Mahama had 49%. When we got to March, April, Mahama garnered 55%. So you realize that a movement of Mahama, first time voters as of January, we were around 49%. By March, April, we had garnered 52. Non-first time voters, 55%. So let me make it clear that we are not complacent. The last of it all, I'll be very careful in this particular aspect, which is the anti-LGBTQ plus bill relative to the particular document. You realize that in one of the testers said that if the NDC does not win this particular election, they will kill us in this country. Let me tell the tester, we are leaving no stone unturned. Whatever happened in 2020 belongs to the dustbins. Lessons have been learned, and we are forging ahead to make sure that we win non-negotiably. Do you support decision by Parliament of Ghana to approve the NT? 59% say we support it. And when it got to the presidency, they asked them, do you support the president delayed tactics in not signing the bill? A whooping 69% said that no way. Our position is clear. We in the NDC, we are putting up a very strong, robust internal electoral mechanism to make sure that people are properly trained. We can collate our result in record time to make sure that people are well resourced. Today, the pro-forum of the NDC is coming out so strong to make sure that when it comes to vigilance on the D-Day, pooling agent on the D-Day, we are leaving nothing to chance. And in any case, this election is going to serve as the last resort for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He deputized for late meals in 2008, won 2012, lost 2016, lost 2020, and there's an added in tree. Permit me to quote, it will only take a fool stick down there to be stepped 3 times. John Dramani Mahama would never, read my list, stood so low for his stick under there to be stepped 3 times. He lost 2016, lost 2020, but for 2024 it's not negotiable.
Thank you so much, BOT, for your submission. Mr. Ezekiel, take us.
World Economic Governance Index 2024 recently named Ghana as the 5th best governed country on the continent. The country came behind Mauritius, Namibia, South Africa, Botswana at 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th places. The new ranking automatically names Ghana as the best governed country in West Africa. And some of the factors, the countries were assessed based on corruption perception, rule of law, press freedom, and political rights, with equal weight given to all 4 of them, Ghanaians. This is in these difficult times and challenging moments. This survey carried out puts Ghana as the 5th best governed economy and the best in West Africa. We are committed to continuing. And again, my brother BOT did say that the survey, which is normally what is done, Info Analytics Day, if elections were held today, we disagree because elections are not going to be held today. And the viewer knows that. And we know that there are challenging moments. We have admitted that in the times in which we have said, if the exogenous factors that hit this country under this government, if they had hit us under a certain government, this country would have collapsed. They would have mortgaged this country. You get it? And so we have challenges. Yes. And we are addressing the challenges. We have said we have turned the corner. And then I'm telling you, Dr. Bawumia's vision, total for the youth of this country. Business opportunities, digitalization is very important. Okay? And we are showing everybody that trust in the leadership and the vision of Dr. Bawumia. Okay? Solid. And then we are going to take Ghana from where it is to the next level, because this government brought some expenditures that were not there. I keep stressing that.
Thank you, Mr. AC.
Some people couldn't handle the formal traditional expenditure. Had to cancel some. We restored them and added more, and yet this country is moving on.
You, Mr. AC.
So we are going to take you to the proper destiny. That is what we need. And we assure you, we are bold people.
Thank you,
and we have the bold vision to roll out to take you to the proper destiny.
Thank you so much, Mr. AC, for your
progress and comfort is our priority.
Right. Thank you so much, BOT, for your submission. This is our time, our last on the program. Make a time with us. Same time tomorrow.
Performance tracker, go and look at it.
I
had a certain professor say when he